Welcome everybody to the Red Cartel podcast. This podcast we're going to be discussing something that's close to our hearts as part of the Red Cartel, and makes up 1/3 of the Red Cartel, which is Man United and Ten Hag, and the atrocious performance that they put out to a very little club in London against Tottenham. We would have traditionally started this podcast with da 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 da. Ten Hag's at the wheel, Ten Hag's at the wheel. Unfortunately, I'm gonna refrain from continuing to do that because he was at the wheel against Tottenham and Tottenham bloody won, which annoys me so much. But yeah, it's Will here from the Red Cartel with Leon from the Red Cartel, and we thought we'd just give our kind of 2 pence in the Man United Tottenham match, and talk about kind of Ten Hag and where he's going from here. Really, it seems to be just a kind of constant cycle of does okay for a couple of games and then has a stinker every game. So yeah, I'm going to pass over to my friend Leon, who's going to maybe talk a bit about the match, and then we're going to talk about a bit about Ten Hag as well. How you doing, Leon?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. And hello to everybody. I have just noticed that on camera, which is hilarious, that my beard like matches the colour of my top. And so it's
That's
sort of
perfect.
like I've done that on purpose, but I'm just grey and old and I'm wearing a grey jumper. Um,
But boss, I've just seen that perfect line
I
across,
know,
mate. When
like here. It's bizarre. It's so
perfect, mate.
funny. Yeah.
Perfect.
Got top
Done well, mate. I've also come as Ten Hag as well today. So
just go and laugh.
Ten Hag that's had a few too many Christmas dinners, but still Ten Hag, mate. So
But a better manager than Ten
yeah,
Hag.
better manager, mate. As my championship manager results will give you. I win things.
You beat me in the game that we did earlier on in the season, the fantasy dream draft team. So you beat me, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a much better manager than Ten Hag. So
Yeah.
we're all good.
All right.
Right.
What? So yeah, Leon, talk about Ten Hag, mate. Let's talk about the Man United match. 3-0 at home to Spurs. The Man United fans waking up this morning must just be thinking, what is managing our club? But yeah, so 3-0, mate. Talk about it.
So I mean, I'm like delighted to talk about this game. Like, if there's people call it like Schadenfreude, right? Which is laughing at other people's demise. And there's not a club I dislike more in the world, even though it's one of our brothers in arms. There's just not a club I dislike more in the world than Man United. And there's just nothing funnier than knowing they're going to lose and watching them lose. Like, I don't ever watch Man United games, but I tuned in for this because I knew. I predicted a 4-0 Tottenham win. I was close. If Brennan Johnson could have not hit the post and scored, we'd have been in there. But the game itself, I mean, where do you start? Like, Tottenham are basic and they put a beating on them.
They
I mean,
did. I mean, and like just to give the other side, I in our prediction podcast, I predicted the Man United win, and I don't know why, and well, I do know why because I've got like a Stockholm syndrome with United. In my brain, they're going to win lots of games, and they're a good side because I've just been scarred by too many years of Arsenal under the Wenger days, getting beaten by United. But oh god, like to
not
turn up and even before the red card as well, it's they were absolutely played off that park.
unbelievable. So, like, I mean, I'll give the general overview of the game and the feeling and thoughts I left with. Well, I mean, because I sent you a voice note halfway through the game, like saying this is glorious, it's unbelievable. There's just been a red card that probably shouldn't have been, but it's so funny to watch. They just collapsed. So Ten Hag, maybe it's not his fault. I don't know because they have had like 550 managers in the last like 5 seasons or something, and all of them have done terribly. Like, so I
Yeah,
don't know. But anyway, the thoughts and feelings from the game were this: Tottenham, who are not that good, but they're good. They're good. They're all right. Not that good though. All right, like bit better than mid-table. Without their best player and captain, went to a to a stadium where I think it was out of the last 10 times they played there, they'd lost 8 and drawn 2. I think that was right before the game. Gary Neville was going on about how, oh, this is the team we want to play right now. This is the team. Spurs give you a chance. They're good. They've got a high line, which is obviously what you thought predicting.
That's exactly what I thought, mate. And my predictions, I thought United's pace up front would absolutely destroy that high line of Tottenham's, but that was not the case.
No, and I would ask you, what pace?
Yeah, they got pace. They don't have much else, but they got pace up front.
They must have left that in the back pocket just in case. But when they went 4-0 down to come back.
Yeah, they wanted to come back 4-4. Epic game.
Because to be honest with you, Marcus Rashford is an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment. It's a joke. He is nowhere near good enough to play for Man United at the moment. He's nowhere near it. And last season, he was terrible. So he's carried on in the same vein. And if he's their chosen son, and they love him so much, then they have to choose him or Ten Hag. Because he's not facilitating Marcus Rashford. I'm not saying that he's their best player or anything. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, what I think about Rashford is, you know that saying when they always say about like they try and make a player into a world-class player but they go through a bit of a bad patch and they go, oh, form is temporary, class is permanent. But I think Rashford is the perfect example of where you confuse those two things. And I think sometimes he just hits really good form, but he's not class. So when he gets out of that form, he's just the normal Rashford, and I think that's maybe where it's come from this day. He thinks that Man United fans and the pundits think he's world class, but actually he's not. He just goes through some purple patches in his career. But yeah, he was bad. I remember one state of play, he just ran off the pitch.
Yeah,
it was crazy. He just ran out of ideas. It's like me playing FIFA, mate. I just run and I get a bit scared when I get near the box and I just give it to the defender or I run off the pitch. So,
maybe he saw Van de Ven. He thought, well, if that's how you do it, then I'll just go. And then he realised he's not even as good as Van de Ven, who's a centre-back as a striker. That's poor, isn't it?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he wasn't the worst player on that pitch, but he was pretty poor on that game. It's a great little interlude into the first goal. I mean, how is a defence allowing a defender just to run in a straight line and bypass everyone? It's crazy.
No idea. It's like it was the NFL. Like we were playing FIFA, and you just forgot to change the difficulty from beginner, and that you can just run straight and no one will tackle you. I don't understand why he wasn't fouled 100 times over. I know it's not the thing you're supposed to as a football fan go, foul him, but foul him. Don't let him do that. That's insane. Also, no marking at all at the back post.
No, I mean, it was such a strange thing to see. And the NFL thing was perfect, except for instead of your team being the blockers, it was like the Man United right back, or was it? Yeah, it was the right back, and then the Delit were just running alongside him, just go and engage the player. If I saw that Arsenal do that, I would be so annoyed, so annoyed.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see Arsenal do that even in their terrible days.
Mustafi days. I'll always remember my Mustafi days. So, but yeah, I might have seen it then, but not now, obviously. Yeah.
No, but even then, even Liverpool in their terrible days, even when we had Paul Konchesky and all those boys playing, like Roy Hodgson and stuff, I don't remember a goal where and it wasn't just their defensive, their entire team stood there and just watched him run. And there was even a moment where he sort of stopped just before about 10 yards outside of the box, and he went, it's almost, they can't let me run in here. And then he went, oh, they are. All right. And he just ran forward again. And no one did anything.
I know. It was crazy. It was such a poor goal to concede. Yeah, well done, Mickey van der Ven. He's a very fast player. Uses his pace a lot. It's his second long run, but if you know a player, if you know a centre back is quick and he likes to run, just stop him in midfield, or
Yeah.
or get the right back to come in and just engage him. It kind of shouted of a team that had no understanding of where they should be on the pitch.
Absolutely. Specifically against the Tottenham team who have Van der Ven, because to sort of round that up, right, and like what you're saying, I think it was Gary Lineker who said this. It was like, what other centre-back in world football is making that run? And I mean, I wasn't talking directly to Gary Lineker, but what I would have wanted to say to him was, no other defender, not because they haven't got the pace, because they're a centre-back.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be running through the offensive line and beating their centre-back, because if they were, in any other team, people would be saying, that centre-back is insane. What is he doing? So I'm not going to give Tottenham complete credit. He just ran in a straight line really fast, and he shouldn't have been. It's mental, but he did. But that shows you how poor Man United are. Their centre-back can pick the ball up and go, I'm just going to run, mate. And they ain't going to touch me.
Oh no, mate, it was a crazy first goal. I mean, look, Brendan Johnson. You saw a bit like they made a big thing about it, but he's like smiling massively before he gets the ball. It's just I was thinking, how am I ended up in this box on my own, and how has my centre back run 50 yards through a Man United defence? They must have just been Christmas has come early today. It's crazy.
Crazy first goal to concede. No idea what Man United were trying to do in defending that. I guess Ugarte was the solution.
Well, we'll come on to Ngate and Ten Hag's signings slightly later in the pod. But crazy 1-0. Tottenham pretty much in complete control. I think did that Man United really have a chance? They had the one Rashford chance, but he was offside.
Garnacho tried to imitate, well, I suppose he did it first, but imitate James Justin's goal, didn't he, and smacked it against the post. That was a good volley at the back post.
Yeah, that was a good chance, but yeah, he had a lot of time. I mean, he had more time than Justin, and he put it to the post. But yeah, a couple of good chances, and then probably the big talking point outside of the quality of play was the Bruno red card. And look, I would again, I put my little, would I be annoyed if Arsenal player got sent off like that, and would I be annoyed if the opposition player didn't get sent off? And both of them, like, no, I'd be. It was a soft red, and I don't understand how VAR didn't overturn it. I can see why the ref gave it, but VAR should have looked at that and said, "You need to have a look. Just have a look at the context of this tackle and see whether it should be a red card." I mean, what were your thoughts on that, Leo?
My thoughts are, like I sent you a voice note, it was absolutely hilarious, and it was never. I don't even know. I know some people have said it was a yellow because he is reckless, his foot's up, he slipped, and he still makes contact. All that. At the time, I didn't even think it was a yellow card. And I'm honest with you, I was like, he tried to get the ball, he just slipped over and smashed it. That's an accident, isn't it? Because he slipped over. And do you know what the VAR said? And I'm pretty sure he agrees with him, because letter of the law, he should go.
It was dangerous. He said reckless and dangerous. So
I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No, there was no studs on. There was no studs on the on the player. He slipped. You got to take the context around it. It's not like he jumped in and did it like knowing he was coming off 2 feet. But yeah, it was. It didn't really. It was never going to change the outcome. I mean, Ten Hag would have had to have had the halftime talk of his life to get something out of that player in the second half. But yeah, still a silly one. Man United are really going to struggle now. They don't have Bruno, who I don't really rate, but in that United team, he is the most creative player in their team. So they're going to struggle to score goals, even though they already struggle to score goals at
Well,
the moment.
I'll ask you at this point, even just as a squad rotation player, who from the Man United team would you take? Because there's only one player in my mind for Liverpool. Who would you take from Man United to have at Arsenal in your squad?
Probably like the lit to replace Saliba. No, there's only one really, Garnacho. Um, I might have taken like Rashford, um, but as a backup just for his pace. But yeah, Garnacho probably. I mean that's it. I mean that's how far United have fallen, is that they don't really have any players that would get into a top four side.
I didn't think about Kobe Mainoo either. Maybe two, because Garnacho is the player I was thinking of. No, but I just mean as a
Mainly
rotational player. He's not.
Mainly for me, and this might be controversial, is not he is very quickly getting found out in the Premier League. His honeymoon period of bursting onto the scene last season has now dropped, and he can't seem to play a ball. I don't know whether it's confidence. He doesn't. I don't know what he brings to a side. Man United fans, if you're listening, tell me what Kobe Mainoo brings to the side, because I can't see it when I watch Man United.
I think of him in a similar vein to Alexis McAllister for Liverpool. He's that type of player. But having said that, you are right. He is doing absolutely nothing. But then to give him a little bit of defence, sounds like I love Kobe Mainoo. I don't. His other midfielders are the worst in the Premier League by miles. Like Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, and Ugarte. Even though Ugarte's only played or Uarte or however they say it now, like they wouldn't even get into the Palace team. They wouldn't get into
Yeah.
Fulham.
Well, we'll get into Fulham's team. Fulham have got a good side, mate. Good side.
Spicy
But
Fulham.
little Arsenal, mate.
So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, there's no players I would take really bar Garnacho, and I would probably take, like I said, I'd probably take Mainoo, but that's more because I think he can become something. He won't if he stays at Man United. He'll drift into Scott McTominay-isms.
Yeah, yeah. And how funny is it that now, like, you look at Scott McTominay and you realise, oh God, he was really carrying that midfield. How did they get to the point where he was carrying the midfield?
Italian league, mate, at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Billy Gilmore, mate. The Scottish Wall in Napoli, mate.
Craziness. Like he's insane. Scott McTominay is actually secretly a really good player, and Man United are absolutely idiots for selling him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I didn't think he was that great, but he was a step above the standard that they've got now. I mean, the fact in at the second half when they needed to go and find a goal, they brought on Casemiro,
Yeah.
and to almost play like an attacking midfielder for some reason. He kept popping up into the box. Speaking of players that you wouldn't normally see popping into the box occasionally, why does De Ligt play as a striker for United now? Because every time I saw him, he was in Tottenham's box.
When you're down to 10 men, right, what you need to do is put your centre backs up front.
I heard that rumour. That's the way you counteract everything, isn't it?
The cleverest thing to do is stick our big 6'5" centre back up front, because obviously they've got all their other forward line that don't score. So maybe their centre backs will score. I think Ten Hag just run out of ideas. He's just like, maybe someone will score. Someone. It's just balls, isn't it? Boom. That's what he was hoping for. I mean, Xerxes never going to score.
Mate, Xerxes is, and this will be only for people over the age of 35. Xerxes for me is the new Alfonso Alves Martin Jr. Now he's now obviously Alfonso Alves. Middlesbrough bought him in the early 2000s, and that's the sort of level Xerxes is. Kind of could score a few goals in a lesser league, and now is trying to score in the Premier League, and he's never going to cut it. He's poor. And then Brendan Johnson played very, very well that game. Cuts in the wing, managed to get the ball across, and who? What was the Tottenham player that scored? Kulusevski scored, and then of course we had the Solanke header as well. I mean, again, the Man United defence are just amazing at creating space for strikers in the box. Kind of there was like a semicircle of defenders around Solanke as he put the ball in the back of the net. So all in all, pretty atrocious game for United. Ange will take all the plaudits, I'm sure. The pundits were talking about how brave Ange is to go out and attack. So well done to Tottenham for getting that 3 points. I think the big question now is what's going to happen to Ten Hag. And for me, personally, as an Arsenal fan, I really, 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 really would love him to be in the position stay as Man United manager until at least we play them once this season. I don't want them to get sacked. Like a couple of seasons ago, I lost the ability to have to watch Arsenal play against the Frank Lampard Everton. I don't want to lose the ability to watch Arsenal play against, say, Ten Hag Man United this season. But Leon, what do you think's next? Do you think he'll go? He'll stay? Where do you think he can go?
Two. One is like Liverpool, where I think he won 2 trophies in 2 seasons. He's a more successful manager than Mikel Arteta. He's more successful than Arne Slot has been in those years. I think so. I think he only won the Dutch Eredivisie. So, or even equally so, he must be close to Pep. Pep must have only won about 4 trophies over that time. So 4 or 5 trophies over that time. So he's second most successful manager in the Premier League over the last 2 years. So I don't think they can get rid of him, can they? Because he's winning trophies. Well, that's what they told us at the beginning of the season. And so I used their logic with me Liverpool hat on to say, then many happy returns, and may he stay for as long as, if they want to win a League Cup or an FA Cup every season, that's what the Man United fans and pundits and all that aspire to. More power to them.
I tell you what. To add to that, I'm also I've gained a slight respect for Man United fans as well, that they could have championed him so much over the last couple of seasons. 2 cups, 2 seasons, mate. He's a winner. He's a winner, mate. Yeah, this league thing, that's a secondary thought. It's all about the cups. It's all about the cups that we should go into. But I mean, where do Man United stay? They can't really get rid of him, right? Most of the team is a Ten Hag team now. There's not many players on that pitch that Ten Hag has not bought for United. Really, the only kind of ones that he hasn't brought in himself are Kobbie Mainoo, Rashford, and Garnacho. Right, they were there at the club before.
No, that was already there, I think.
So, but a good 70-80% of that team is a Ten Hag team. So they kind of have to stick with him, right?
I'd say so. So the other facet to this is not necessarily they have to stay with him because of those reasons, but who is there out there that's going to replace him and come in and do a better job specifically with them, those players then? Because the managers I can think of off the top of my head are Thomas Tuchel, who surely he would want to avoid that. He wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot barge pole. Surely he'd be swerving. Because going to Man United now is a reputation.
I think so.
Who else is there out there? I'm trying to think of any other managers. Because I said to you before, and I think it is the manager they should get, is Marco Silva from Fulham. That's who they should have. Because I don't want them to get him, because he'll actually do a good job. So I don't know what they do. They can't sack him because they backed him for $1 billion or something, is it? That they've spent since he's been there? think it's
Oh, they haven't gone that far. He's only been there 2 seasons. They've not spent. That's Chelsea, mate. You're thinking of Chelsea.
probably I'm
Um,
thinking. No, he spent a lot of money, a lot of money. Like,
oh yeah, he spent maybe 500 million or something like that. At least,
I
I reckon.
it's more than that. But I mean, again, regardless of whether it is or not, he's bought in a load of dross. Like, they bought in Martinez, defender, who's terrible. They bought in De Ligt, who's a giant, to go, like Kevin Phillips, Niall Quinn. That's a strike force, and everybody has forgotten. Instead, Man United have decided we're going to play that at the back, which is like terrible. I don't understand. And then you've got like, and don't worry, don't give him any support. Let's buy really fast fullbacks and go, get him out of there. Go. And then all we've got is two geezers at the back who's like licked, who and I've called this in the season. Dyer is better than him.
You have called it. You've been very much at the forefront of understanding that De Ligt is not a good enough player to play in the Premier League. So
Liverpool wanted him, and we would have bought him when we were good if he was good.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying is when we Joel Matip and Joe Gomez and Reece Williams, who people would have forgotten, right? When we had those people, and maybe Nat Phillips as like our backup defenders, we were like, oh, we could bring De Ligt in. We could buy him because he's out of favour. We could get him, and we didn't. I thought De Ligt's not good enough then. If he's not better than I'm not having to go at Joe Gomez, but if he's not better than Joe Gomez at centre back, and Joe Gomez doesn't play at centre back for us for a very good reason,
yeah.
then don't bring in again. Eric Dyer came in and replaced him. And although a Man United fan, I think he clapped back at me in one of the comments and said, like, yeah, that's not true. Like, Dyer did this and De Ligt did this. Yeah, well, how are you liking it now? Do you want Dyer or De Ligt? Because I'm going to be honest with you, Dyer and Maguire would be better than Martinez and De Ligt.
I think even on par with each other. But yeah, you're right. There's no one to come in. I can't. They'd have to have an interim boss. I thought Rude. You think Rooney, don't you? I think Rude will come in and replace him, but I'm hoping they give him a bit more time. And I hope he's around when Arsenal play United. But you've got to look at Ten Hag and some of the results that he's produced against some big teams. That he's just like they're sackable results. I mean, 3-0 against Tottenham at home is a sackable result anyway.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, but he's also been destroyed by Liverpool. Was he seven? He was the 7-0 manager, right? Was it last season you beat him 7-0?
Maybe 5.
Oh, only 5. He was 5-0 manager. He lost to Man City. I think they 6-1 or something. He lost to Man City. He's had some big results against him that he survived. But I wonder how many more that he's gonna be managed to bat off.
I don't know. They were on about Rio Ferdinand's gone back in, hasn't he? Because he wants to make the club a better place. He's going back in to do something to like backroom staff type style thing. I just remember I was reading an article about it 2 or 3 days ago, and I just don't understand. Man United might finish outside the top 10 this season.
That's a big call, boss. That is a big call. I think they're definitely. I don't think they're getting Europe this season. My predictions at the beginning of the season were, I think they might finish above Man City this season. That kind of is not looking good. So my biggest concern about Ten Hag is I don't quite understand what sort of team United are. Like, I always think that they say they're a transition team, but they're not very good at transitioning from a defence to attack. But they're a counter-attacking team, right? They've got fast players that they can break a line and go in. But Ten Hag doesn't seem to have brought in a style of play that you can say, oh yeah, I pin that style of play. Like Arteta, you can pin a style of play. Even Slot, you can pin the style of play that Liverpool play now. All the big, even Ange, you know the style of play Tottenham play. Whereas when you look at Man United, you just don't really see a style. You just see 11 footballers on the pitch that if they score, it's because someone's individual brilliance. You never see like a 20 pass goal or like a great kind of training ground kind of goal. You just see it, some individual stuff or like crosses. But yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, if Ten Hag stays and this isn't the turning point, what do you think would be the tipping point for Ten Hag?
Oh, like so, I I don't know because it's funny because I don't know what Man United are. Like I actually, so to give you an answer to that, I need to first know what beast I'm dealing with. But it's so poisonous, it's so toxic and strange that I don't really know how you fix it or how you go about fixing it. I could say, wow, they don't press very well, but I don't know what the trigger for their press is. I've no idea. They just run about. I don't know. And if it isn't now, it's got to be at Christmas so that they at least give somebody else the time to buy some players, sell some players. Like, I mean, Mason Mount, good player, right? Don't look like it at Man United. Casemiro,
No.
well, don't look like it at Man United. Ugarte, a terrible debut. So I don't know what they just keep buying players and like, yeah, he's going to be the one. This one will be the one to fix it. And then it doesn't happen. And it's got to come from, like you said, it's got to come from the manager down. Or like the club down, club, manager, players, right? It's got to come down like that. Like, this is the philosophy we want. This is what I'm trying to do. And so this is how we're going to play. And then you buy the right players to do that. But what Ten Hag seems to have done is come in, bought all of his old boys, and then realised, I used to play in the Dutch league, didn't I? And that
Yeah, yeah.
league, oh, they're not. Oh, it's too good. So he's bought like there are about 6 players or 7 players that would get into the Man United first 11 from Crystal Palace. You're in trouble. You're in real trouble. And so I don't know. Tipping point. What games has he got coming up that could be?
Let's have a quick look at United's fixtures.
One more embarrassment at home is when he'll be.
Oh, by the way, I had to scroll down quite far down the table to find Man United. They're 12th at the moment, so that's pretty atrocious.
It's bad, isn't
I
it?
mean, what we're looking at, so they got Porto in the Europa League. They got Villa away. It's gonna be difficult. Brentford, West Ham away. Chelsea at home, Leicester at home, Ipswich away. So they've got quite apart from maybe Villa away, Chelsea at home, but Chelsea, you don't know what you're going to get. They got a nice run of fixtures that you could see Ten Hag getting 5 or 6 results, not wins but results out of that.
Right. They'll lose to Porto and all the 6 points. They'll beat Ipswich and Leicester, and that's a maybe.
Yeah, it should be beat Brentford, beat West Ham.
Brentford will batter them. And Buemo and Wissa at the moment are on fire. 2 wingers that like go out and in against Mazraoui, who basically plays for a different team, and Gallo, who doesn't track back as we saw in this last game. I'm just telling you, Brentford are better than Tottenham, or at least similar quality.
Or I'm predicting Ten Hag to be sacked in the beginning of January. So December for Man United. They travel to Arsenal. They travel to Man City. They have Newcastle at home, and then the 4th of Jan they travel to Liverpool. So there you go. You can be the team that put him away.
He's not that. It's madness. He's done. If he loses, so I think out of those games you just listed, they will lose. They'll lose against Porto. They'll lose against Villa. They'll lose against Brentford. That's in. This is the result. After the Fenerbahce game, that's when they lose to Fenerbahce away, that's when he'll get sacked. The 25th of October. Because guess who
Soon.
Fenerbahce's manager is?
Oh, Mourinho.
Here we go. This is going to be it. This is going to be it. And then he's going to look back and be like, finishing second with that team and winning a trophy was one of my proudest achievements as a manager. Just remember. And he's going to be
Yeah,
going down.
it's going to be a tough one. I mean, so Leon's gone for the 24th of. You've gone October. I've gone January. That's when I
put it down in your diary. October 25th, Ten Hag sacking party. That's what's going to happen. Oh, it won't be a party. Don't listen to me. Don't sack him. What about? Keep him in. 2 trophies, 2 years. Remember.
Is there anything you think that he can do to turn it around?
Yes, I think he could go like this, and it's actually Jurgen Klopp underneath a Mission Impossible West mask, and then go, haha, fooled you all. Otherwise, no. How many of these games has he had where it's like, oh, if he loses this game badly, he's going to get sacked? And every other time, they've just about got through it and pulled out a result. Like last season in the FA Cup, we should have battered them. And they came back 4-3 and 1. And everyone was like, do you know what? They're boys.
Yeah. It did save him.
Yeah, it did. And before that, there was oh my God, I can't remember I think it was a Man City result. Or it might have actually been a Tottenham result. Or you said that Arsenal didn't. One of the big teams, he played another game, he played against it, and it was like, oh, he's going to be out. And he pulled off a result. And it was like, how did they do that? Oh, did they beat you last season?
They beat Man City in the FA Cup final.
No, but did they beat you, Arsenal?
No. No, we beat them twice. Yeah, Arsenal didn't lose to any of the traditional Big Six last season. So
yeah, sound. Yeah, so Ten Hag could do that. He could not lose to the traditional Big Six. That'd probably help.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's a good. I understand. Maybe a thought one for us to have a think about, because you got to think that he's going to have to pull something out of the bag, and I think looking at his fixtures, if he doesn't win a lot of these next 5 or 6 games, because they have some very, very generous games over the next. No, putting Europe aside, because I think it's only really the league that they'll look at. But if he doesn't win the majority of those games, I think he may go. But I think they will win it. I think Ten Hag's that kind of manager that will be a bit streaky, and he'll go on the 5 or 6 games without a loss, and that'll buy him a couple of losses in his armour.
Well, I think he's lost the dressing room, and I think it's in the capitulation stage now. And I actually think that, and I said this at the beginning of the season, interim manager of Rooney for 6 months from Christmas-ish onwards. Next season, Brendan Rodgers. I'm telling you. I'm telling you this is what's happening. I'm telling you Brendan Rodgers. Celtic going to win the...
Are you Brendan Rodgers' agent, mate? Are you Brendan Rodgers? Because you bring up Brendan Rodgers a hell of a lot of this pod. Right.
Mate, I'm telling you what, Brendan. Brendan. He's got a good character. He's going to be in there talking all the same crap he was talking at Liverpool. I'm telling you now. And everyone's going to be like, yeah, Brendan, he's the boy. And then he'll win 2 trophies in 2 years as well. And then they'll keep him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, we've gone off a bit off topic, but yeah. So just to sum up, Leon thinks sack soon, Rooney coming in, and then Brendan Rodgers is going to be your saviour, Man United fans. So not much to look forward to moving forward. I'm going to say sacked in December, and this is only just because I really hope he's the manager when Arsenal come when they play Arsenal. Sacked in December. Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to be the interim manager, and let's go for Brendan Rodgers. I'll go on that bandwagon as well. Brendan, bring back Brendan, and then when Tottenham and Man United play against each other again, it'll be the battle of the shit Celtic bosses. So that would be it. So yeah.
I'm telling you, Big Brendan, he's coming down. He's coming back down after winning everything in Scotland because everyone else is terrible. He's going to end up coming in and ruin. He's going to piss all over your chips, boys. I'm telling you, Man United fans. He's going to do the same thing that he did to us, but you won't have Suarez.
Yeah. All right. I think Leon, unless you got anything else on your chest about Ten Hag, I think we'll call it a day there on our chat.
Yeah, nothing more to add except for our feelings go out to you, Man United fans. I really do. I feel sorry for Ten Hag. I feel sorry for De Ligt. I feel sorry for all your boys because your club is poison.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I think United have showed that even if you're the top, you can fall quite quickly, and in relative terms, Man United have fallen very quickly. In the space of 5 or 6 seasons, they've gone from a club that's going to be challenging all the time, to a team that is just not feared anymore. They're not feared.
You can flip this if you want. But a question: if they get relegated, do they come back?
You predicting Man United to be relegated, boss?
Hey, I'm just throwing the question out there. If they get relegated, do they come back?
They're never coming back, mate. They'll be bankrupt within about 2 months if they got relegated. Imagine paying Casemiro 300 odd grand a week in the Championship.
Oh, mate, that's obviously shit. Like, don't worry about that. But yeah, interesting thought though, because I thought Everton were going to get relegated, and then realised Man United were worse than Everton. So I don't know.
Could happen. You heard it here first, guys. Man United to be relegated, Ten Hag to keep his job, Rooney to steady the ship, and then Brendan Rodgers coming in to get them promoted from the Championship. All of Leon's Christmases and birthdays would come at once if that had happened.
After me in the 90s, so much, so it's brilliant.
Yeah, he doesn't hold a grudge. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Look, if you have any comments, Man United fans, let us know your thoughts on Ten Hag. Obviously, we're coming from it as an Arsenal fan and a Liverpool fan. We're going to have completely different opinions to you guys. So let us know. What do you think? Will Ten Hag survive the season? Is he going to even survive the year? Would you like Brendan Rodgers to be your next manager? These are questions we would love to know the answers to. So, guys, if you could comment or give us your opinions. If you liked what you heard and you just think we chat a bit of shit, give us a subscribe and stay tuned to the Red Cartel podcast.
Yeah, massively appreciated. Thank you for everybody who's listened. Like Boss said, there's comments down there. Come at me. Like, it's all good. It's all in the heart of the sport, and I love it. It's brilliant. I'm a Liverpool fan. You're Man United fans. Let's have a little debate. Let's see what happens in the comments. Let's just see what happens. And then I could be wrong. Come on, you could be laughing at me in 3 games time. But thank you very much. See you later.
Bye, everyone.